that were flown up and down. So there's so many different variations of black people. To discover yourself and your own family and individual history is to discover one particular tribe, one particular nation, and it's to reveal that to the rest of us. So I think that's where he reflected. You know, he said, I define myself as a person, then my family, and then everybody. You know, and I think that's incumbent upon all of us, and I'm actually doing that now. I'm going to start researching my own genealogy for those reasons. So I thank our elders for that, and Dr. John Henry Clark included. So anyway, he goes on to say, one thing that I learned very early was that knowing history and teaching it are two different things. That's what I'm struggling with now. And the first does not necessarily prepare one for the second, meaning knowing history does not necessarily prepare you for teaching it. So y'all know I'm a seeker, and y'all work with me, because I may know some stuff, don't mean I can't necessarily teach it. At first, it was an exceptionally poor teacher. First, I was an exceptionally poor teacher because I crowded too many of my facts together, and they were poorly organized. I was nervous, over-anxious, and impatient with my students. Sound like me. I began my teaching career in community centers in Harlem. However, I learned that before I could become an effective teacher, I had to gain better control of myself as a human being. I had to acquire patience with young people who giggle when they were told about African kings. I had to understand that these young people had been so brainwashed by our society that they could see themselves only as depressed beings. I had to realize that they had in many ways adjusted to their oppression, and that I needed considerable patience, many teaching skills, and great love for them in order to change their attitudes. I had to learn to be more patient and understand human beings. I had to take command of myself and understand why I was blaming people for not being so well versed in history. In effect, I was saying to them, how dare you not know this? And I know we've all went through that when we come into knowledge of ourselves. After learning what I would have to do with myself and my subject matter in order to make it more understandable to people with no prior knowledge, I began to become an effective teacher. I learned that teaching history requires not only patience and love, but also the ability to make history interesting to students. Y'all, I'm gonna try. I learned that the good teacher is partly an entertainer, and y'all know I don't do that. And if he has lost the attention of his class, he has lost his lesson. A good teacher, like a good entertainer, first must hold his audience's attention, then he can teach his lesson. I meant to edit that out. I didn't want to say that to y'all, but this is the other copy, so I got caught out there on that one. That was a lesson for me. I think Dr. John Henry Clark was talking to me specifically when I decided to embark on this People's University mission. I think he was specifically talking to me on that one. After 5 years in the Harry Act project, I accepted my first regular assignment at the college at which I still teach. And this was as of 1998. I served also as visiting professor. Of course, y'all know he passed in 1998. Okay. I served also as visiting professor at another university and as an instructor in Black Heritage during the summer program conducted for teachers by the history department of a third major university. I also travel to the extent that my classes will permit. Training teachers how to teach about Black heritage. The Black Power explosion and the Black Studies explosion have pushed men like me to the forefront in developing approaches to creative and well-documented Black curricula, like the baseline essays. Forced to be in the center of this arena, I have had to take another inventory of myself and my responsibilities. I have found that young Black students eager for this history have found many of them having doubts about whether they really had a history, in spite of the fact that they had demanded it. I have had to learn patience all over again with young people on a whole nother level. On a college level, I've encountered another kind of young Black student, much older than those who giggle, the kind who does not believe in himself. He does not believe in history, and who consequently is in revolt. This student says, in effect, Man, you're turning me on. You know that we didn't rule ancient Egypt. I have had to learn patience all over again as I learned to teach on a level where students come from a variety of cultural backgrounds. In all my teachings, I have used as my guide the following definition of heritage, and I would like to conclude with it. Now, Dr. John Henry Clark concludes his essay by saying, heritage, in essence, is the means by which people have used their talents to create a history that gives them memories they can respect and that they can use to command the respect of other people. The ultimate purpose of heritage and heritage teaching is to use people's talents to develop awareness and pride in themselves so that they themselves can achieve good relationships with other people. And that relates to us as a community, black people, impoverished people as a community. It's important. And this is why we do what we do. You know, I wear this Panther button. I don't wear it all the time, but when I do, it does attract a little attention.